Hi, my name is Mr. D, and today I want to take a look at converting from scientific notation to standard form. So we have write the following expressions in standard form, and for the first example we have 7.3 times 10 to the fifth power. Now when we say standard form, that means we want to write this expression as a single number. So the strategy we want to use is we're going to write out the number before the exponent term. So we're going to write 7.3. But one of the concepts we're going to utilize is that when we have a decimal, we could add as many zeros as we want to the end of the number. And the reason why we're going to add a bunch of zeros is because for this example, we're going to move the decimal 5 places to the right. Since this is a positive 5, we're going to move the decimal over 5 spaces. So we put the zeros there so that way we can keep track of where the decimal is going to be. You don't want to write the zeros at the end because you might miss one. So with that being said, we're going to move this decimal. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces over. Okay, so the decimal is going to move to this location here. Now you can write the numbers out underneath, but it's sometimes easier to just count it. You're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then the last thing we need to do is we're just going to write this number out. So notice we have 7, 3, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So what we could do is we start from the right, and remember every 3 zeros we could put a comma. So the number here is going to be 730,000. So the answer to the first example, 7.3 times 10 to the fifth, is 730,000. Now at the next example, we have 876 times 10 to the negative fourth power. Whenever you have a negative exponent above your 10, instead of moving the decimal to the right, now we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to move the decimal to the left. So we write out the number. We have 876, and we can write it as 876.0. That way we actually have a decimal that we can move. So what we're going to do this time though is we're going to write a few zeros, but instead of writing them to the right, we're going to write them to the left. And now even though this is improper notation, the reason why we're writing them to the left is so that when we move the decimal to the left, we can kind of keep track of where it's going to wind up. So this time, remember, we go by the exponent. We're going negative 4, so that means we're going to the left 4. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So the decimal is going to wind up right here. Okay, and notice that we have an extra 0. Writing a number properly, we cannot have more than 2 zeros to the left of the decimal. So just know that we have to get rid of one of the zeros like this. And now the numbers underneath was just to kind of count how many jumps we needed to do. So then our final answer to this example, we could write it as 0.0876. Notice that we got rid of the extra 0 on the end because any trailing 0 to the right of a decimal is just a placeholder, so you don't need to write it. So if we wanted to write it as a fraction, we could also say that this is 876 10,000ths, but writing it as a decimal is sufficient. Okay, well this is going to conclude this video on converting from scientific notation to standard form. Thank you all for watching, and I hope that this was helpful.